puppetry on today's live instead of boring countdown timer that I might switch to soon. Okay, are we connected yet? No, we're not connected. So there's more of this. The heart and the dinosaur. Oh, there we go. Okay, more dinosaur. There we go. There we go. Thank you for your patience. Okay, I have been borrowing these from my son without his permission. Hopefully he doesn't call me up on his cell phone, because then I could get in trouble. All right, so welcome to today is day 18. Wow, day 18 of Live for Life Satisfaction. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Viv, your deep life satisfaction and happiness strategist, helping you ambitious entrepreneurial parents and success-minded individuals succeed, not only in business, but in life, okay? In life, so that you can wake up with vibrant passion, live with purpose, and sleep with peace. Welcome to today. Today's topic is balancing ambition with being present, okay? Balancing ambition with being present. So how many of you have ever struggled with like being really driven and kind of like working a lot, workaholic-y type patterns, and kind of not taking enough time to smell the roses, shall we say, okay? So we talk, like this is like, really talked about a lot. Balance, finding harmony. And I want to talk about specific strategies and tools. One tool in particular, a very simple thing that you can do to help bring a bit of that balance back into your life so that you can feel that sweet juice of fulfillment, okay? Because success without fulfillment is just, well, not worth it, really. So therefore we need to balance these things. So I'm gonna tell you that I myself have been one of the worst offenders, because I actually really love working hard, okay? I'm a very driven individual, and I always choose, I always get passionate about things, and I choose to spend my time on projects and my mission on whatever I'm passionate in life. And this has always been the case, even though what I've been passionate about has changed over the years, right? And so historically, I would be like really burning the midnight candle or the midnight oil or whatever you call it, working like, 13-hour plus days, 18-hour days sometimes. Now, I no longer do that, although occasionally, because I really love it. However, I have learned to find balance and cut down, still being tremendously productive in 4 to 6 hours a day. Not to say that that's what you need to do. However, I've learned to kind of cut that down, because not just because it can burn you out, but it's also not the recipe for fulfillment. So if you're very driven, and even if you know your goals, even if your goals are in line with your values, with your life's purpose, and you're like super passionate, and you're like, work is not work, it's just your passion, and it's your business and your baby or whatever, right? If you don't have a bit of this balance, a bit of this time to smell the roses, then not only are you risking burnout, but you're risking not feeling the sweet enjoyment of life, which is what you need to feel every day, kind of learn to smell the roses, learn to be present, okay, in your life. And I'm going to talk about very specifically how you can do that. So we're going to talk about a power hour, having a power hour every day. So first of all, before we get into the power hour, I know what you guys are thinking, like an hour, are you talking about an hour a day? I do not have an hour a day. I'm like so busy. Maybe I have small kids, maybe I have a really demanding career, plus we all have responsibilities. Bear with me, okay? So what I want you to do is make a list and really be thoughtful about this, about all the activities that you do on a daily basis or on a weekly basis that you don't absolutely need to do. Now, we consider sometimes all the things we do as necessary, but do you spend any time on social media, like watching these lives? Or do you spend any time scrolling through Instagram posts or watching, binging on Netflix, or just going down other rabbit holes of tasks that perhaps are work related that we feel are really important, but are actually not driving us towards our purpose? So I really want you to think about all the different tasks, all the different ways you might, I'm not talking about procrastinate necessarily, but procrastinate sure can be one of them, how you spend your time. And especially how you spend your time that could be considered wasting time, okay? So time that you do not have to spend trying to control things you cannot control or escaping because maybe you're not feeling the juice of life, that fulfilling life, that happy life that you absolutely deserve and can have with just directing your effort and your super talent and your super smart brain in the right way, okay? So spend some time, and maybe if you can't come up with a full list today or, just 2 or 3 important things, think about it. I mean, do it now for sure. And think about it if you can add to that over the next couple days, right? Because, and keep track of the time. You can try to estimate, okay, I spend 5 minutes a week scrolling on Instagram. But then you can also be like a little bit more realistic, like how much time do you spend on social media or watching TV? So I actually am not an offender. I am on social media, but I literally do not spend any time unless I'm watching something that my friends have posted or something like that. And I don't procrastinate almost ever. I do know what it is. I have done it, okay? So I am not an offender like that. However, I can be an offender of doing things that I feel are productive, that are actually not the most important things that I really have to do to achieve the goals that I'm interested in achieving. Or I can potentially outsource some of those things, right? So that's an area that I've gotten better at and I continue to work on. So maybe that's an area. If you're not procrastinating or spending time on social or watching any TV, maybe you should be for balance. then you might want to look at what tasks are you doing that you consider really urgent and really important when they're actually not, or maybe they're important but they're not urgent, okay? Because you can actually find that you might be able to get a lot more extra time back if you do that. And now the most important thing is scheduling an hour of power, okay? A power hour for you to spend quality time with the people you love and yourself, okay? So if you have a beautiful family, children, or significant other, that hour of power should be with that person every day, okay? And if you don't, and you can spend it with friends, but maybe not every day, you can spend it with yourself. And now I have talked about many times about self-care. Now I do exercise, meditation, really good nutrition every single day, okay? That is my self-care. That is a base. It actually takes me much more than an hour. And I'm not just talking about that, okay? Just so you know, if you do none of that and you're just spending way too much time watching TV or only doing things you enjoy, like reading books, okay, then you need to maybe balance that with actually doing some healthful behaviors on yourself. However, if you're not in that boat, like me, and you are actually kind of taking care of yourself, but you're maybe taking care of yourself too much and not having enough fun, right? Then that hour might be actually on Netflix. Or I like to watch documentaries, okay, feed my mind and like find out cool things like, how do coconut trees reproduce, right? Like, with the coconuts, is that the seed? I don't know. I haven't watched that one yet. But I have a little list of documentaries to watch with my son as we walk around the world and try to discover what different things are, like the chemistry of a fire extinguisher. How does that work, right? I learned that one actually, but I did not remember it to be able to explain it to my son. So yet another documentary we could watch. Now we could watch this together, or you can watch it on your own, or you can watch a favorite movie. Okay, movie is usually more than an hour, but having a bubble bath or a magnesium salt bath, right? So these are ways that you can relax with yourself, giving yourself downtime. So not just self-care, I gotta meditate. Yes, meditate. Yes, eat well. Definitely exercise, okay? And if that's lacking, then that might be what needs to go in your hour of power. But if you are doing that, and you're doing like so much, right? Like I do, to get that fulfillment, you need that balance, right? So that hour of just sitting, like I did this I do this every day, but I admit some days are not perfect. Some days I don't get an hour straight, and I divide it between the morning and the evening. But yesterday I was like an hour and a half of quality time with my son in the evening, and I was a bit tired. I was just laying on the couch and just watching him as he cooked different little meals. He's 3.5, okay? So cooked little meals in his kitchen and served me various interesting things like broccoli ice cream. And that was just like, and it was so beautiful. My husband was there too. We had already eaten, done the dishes, and we were just like sitting there with him. And that was like, it's so enriching, it's so fulfilling. And don't let life go by without doing the things that really matter, okay? Connection, relationships, love, spending that beautiful time with the people that you love. These are things that you will not regret, okay? These are things that if you miss out on, you might regret, okay? And your job and the things that you're working towards, it will be there. If you're like a real type A, go-getter driven person, it can be easy to fall into the trap of thinking like, I gotta do everything now. I gotta push forward. Oh, maybe there's competition, or, there's so many deadlines, or I gotta get ahead. Believe me, you do not. You do not. It will be there. It will be there. Whether you're working, 4 hours, 6 hours, or 12 hours, believe me. You can do a lot. And I'm not suggesting you work 12 hours, okay? I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying, and one of my really great friends and colleagues, Josh Allen Hall, he's the founder of Productivity Co. And his whole philosophy, his whole business is on teaching people how to get all these results in a short amount of time, to live these purposeful, meaningful lives, right? So, there is a science to it. You can absolutely do it, but just start today, okay, to get more fulfillment in your life. Give yourself that hour a day, whether it's with your family or with yourself. Quality time that doesn't have to be productive, but where you can be present. Oh, and if this is a foreign concept to you, I am going to highly recommend that you read a book. It's a classic. You've probably already read it, but if you haven't, read it. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I've read this 20 years ago almost, or 15 years ago. And it is a classic. It is an absolute classic. If you haven't read it, it will help you really enjoy the moment of now. The Power of Now, it's called, by Eckhart Tolle. And this is number 7 on my list of top 20 books or my list of 20 life-changing books for unleashing your full potential and transforming your life. So, and if you want the full list, by the way, I have mentioned this list before, just drop books in the comments or direct message me on Facebook or Instagram. I always love to hear from you, and I will get you that list, okay? So that is something you can also use as a resource if you need a little bit of help on how to be in the moment, okay? Also, you can go back to day 1 where I talk about emotional mastery, and there's a few other days that I talk about meditation and stuff like that. That can also help you really learn how to be in that moment, so that when you're sitting there with your family, you're not thinking about your problems, you're not obsessing about work, but you are there smelling the roses, okay? Or when you're in that bubble bath or with your book, whatever you need balance with. And it's different for everybody, okay? So think about all the things I said. Let me know what you're going to do with your hour of power. And remember, do that list to get yourself extra time, okay? Get rid of the crap behaviors that you do not need and give yourself what you deserve. And that is the fulfilling life. It's not going to happen by itself. You need to design it and make that time. Choose to spend your time in that way so that you will feel fulfilled. And that when you get to the end of your life, you'll be like, wow, that was good. That was really good. Okay. So as always, if you got any value out of today's session, please show some love, like, share, follow, and subscribe, and ring that bell. Okay. So that you get notified of the next one. Okay. I always love to hear from you. So share in the comments. And like I said, write books if you want that book list. And I will see you guys. Well, it's Friday. I will see you on Monday. Okay, so I'll see you on Monday. Thank you for joining. And remember, wake with passion, live with purpose, and sleep with peace. Take care.